You know, more people start thinking about their retirement, their financial situation, how it will be once they retire later in life. But maybe it's something that you should think about earlier in life. Maybe you need a financial planner. Well, I've got Justin Struble back with us today from WealthCaps, and he's a fixer, not a broker.
That's
I love that. How you doing, Justin? It's good to see you again. Now, one of the other things besides a fixer and a broker, you are also a certified financial planner.
That's correct.
What exactly is that?
It's probably the most recognized designation out there in our industry, but it really, of course, it's a certification. There's actually 7 courses to get it. From the client standpoint, it tells them that I'm a fiduciary, which means I'm always putting their interest ahead of my own, which seems obvious, but our industry historically hasn't had that. We've had a suitability standard, which means if it's pretty good, then it's good enough, and I could make extra money by giving you something that's good enough. But I've always held myself to that fiduciary standard, and so being a CFP professional, it's reflecting that to the public, to the clients, to say, hey, yes, I'm holding myself to this standard, or I'm going to lose that designation.
Well, you know, as I mentioned, more and more people are starting to think about their financial future earlier in life because of the situation in the economy. Who should really look at doing financial planning?
Well, anybody can look at it or should look at it that's serious about their finances. There's different types of financial planning. I mean, retirement planning is one area. You may have college planning where it's your kids or your kids are planning for college. Or even budgeting and debt reduction is a whole another niche of it. But again, some people, maybe it's not a good time in your life to focus on it. Maybe it is. But when it is, anybody of any age could do financial planning or look at it. And it will improve your life just because you know we're putting the facts behind it. See, my specialty is retirement planning for those baby boomers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you do? Do you have an area that you specialize in?
Yeah, because you can't know everything for everybody.
No.
And even to that niche, that market, there's areas
and
where
every family's going to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's areas, I mean, I'm not an estate attorney, so I pass referrals regularly to them. I don't do property and casualty. I don't do health insurance. So I deal with other experts that are specialized in those niches. So even if I say baby boomers, they need a handful of specialists. Just like if you go to the doctor, you don't just have your family practice. You've got specialists when you have specialized needs.
Right.
Same thing in financial planning. You've got that go-to, and then if you need other things, it's delegated out or referred out.
Now, when you talk to people, what do you find nowadays in today's economy, what some of their biggest concerns are?
Income is the biggest. Retirement income, we've got low interest rates, we've got volatility in the market. Nobody wants another 2008. You see your account go down 30, 40, 50%, and it took 6 years for it to come back just to break even. Nobody wants that. I mean, you can imagine retiring, living on the income, and then you realize 10 years into retirement, hey, I need to go back to work. I need to pick up an extra job. I need to cut my lifestyle down. I can't do the things I have been doing because of something you may not be able to control, the market, interest rates, health care costs, or taxes. I mean, how many people think taxes are going to go down in the future?
Whatever.
So the reality is...
Sorry, that's the reality
it is. And I could ask 100 people, and 99 or 100 of them are all going to say taxes are going up. They don't know on who or if it's on everybody, but taxes are going to go up. How does that affect your retirement? Should we be doing something different with your IRA, your 401k, and maybe taking some of it out now and getting it into tax-free or tax-deferred vehicles at the current tax rate instead of waiting till it's too late and now you're paying more taxes? Or we've even talked before, if you have a couple and one of you passes away, now you're filing taxes as a single person, so you're in a higher tax bracket, right off the bat.
And a lot of people don't think about that.
And it'll set you back where you say, oh, well, I may be making less money, but you're actually now paying more taxes. So retirement income is huge. Taxes are concerned. Health care is a concern. And that's really what I focus on is addressing those big concerns.
Well, why should someone come to you or a certified financial planner for that matter, any certified financial planner, to help them out?
Yeah, most people come to me because they've got one of those concerns, or maybe they've got something where maybe they're happy with their advisor, but they feel like they're asking questions about Social Security or Medicare, and they're not sure they're getting the right answer. My job is to get the right answer as a financial planner, and if they go to any financial planner, as opposed to, and let me make this distinction, there's financial advisors, which are typically investment advisors. Mm-hmm. And that's how most people think of our industry. You go to an advisor, they're going to manage your money. That's what you think they do.
So you go in and say, here, I've got, $50,000, $100,000, what would you recommend that I do with this as far as,
right.
Stocks, bonds, whatever?
And they ask you the normal
like
risk questions, and you say, okay, well, I can handle that kind of risk. And you go through the process.
But that's not what you do.
I do that, but that's the second phase.
It's a secondary thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So someone can come to me, and we can do financial planning without ever managing their investments. Mm-hmm. But once we've put out the plan, we say, okay, we need this investment to serve this purpose. You may say, well, I need an emergency fund for this or that, or when I retire, we want to buy an RV and travel the country. So we need to earmark that and have a purpose for each dollar. And then we invest it in that thing. It's not just all invested together saying it's invested and we'll cross our fingers.
Well, you mentioned retirement. Should people that are nearing retirement, like myself, could come to you?
They can, yeah. We're not right for everybody. I use some of the state-of-the-art technologies that are out there. We've got software, and frankly, I consider our service. If I get a new client, mm-hmm. I treat them like family, and they're part of the family. This isn't a transaction, so it's not something where you come in and just put your money and just go on about your life. I want to be engaged. If your lifestyle is changing, I want to know about it, and likewise, if there's something you need to know, I want to be able to pick up and call you and say, hey, Jim, we need to talk about this.
Yeah. Well, we do want to mention that if you do call and make an appointment, that your first visit is absolutely free, mm-hmm. which is great, and also that you can go online, and they have this great retirement survival guide, 9 mistakes retirees make that can wreck your retirement, keep you awake at night, and make you dependent on your kids and how to avoid them. And you can get this book absolutely free by going to your website. Website is on your screen.
Yep.
So
give us a call. We'll give it to you. The first half of that is a story about a couple that retired. The second half is the mistakes they made. And so if you read the first half and you say, yeah, that sounds about like we would do, mm-hmm. the second half will show you why they made $400,000 in errors.
All right. Justin Struble, thank you very much from WLOX. Remember, he's a broker, not a fixer. Or he's a fixer, not a broker.
That's right.